Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about study tips for medical terminology. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. I have been a medical coder for over 10 years. I created my channel with the hope of sharing all of my stories and my tips and my tricks about medical coding with all of you. So if you want more of this content, I hope that you'll subscribe. I hope that you'll like this. And at the end, if this video helps you, I hope that you will share it. So let's get started. All right. This video is inspired by all of the emails that I've been getting lately from folks asking me, what are some tips to learn medical terminology? They feel overwhelmed because it is a lot. And if you put this in front of somebody who hasn't been in school for many years, it can be even more overwhelming. When I started in medical coding school, I had been out of school for many years, okay? And the fact that I had to start over again and start to learn medical terminology, it was a lot. But I am a reader, so it didn't really bother me to do all of the reading and to do the flashcards and things like that. When it comes to learning medical terminology, I'm going to tell you guys very basic things because I think a lot of times people overlook the very basic things, which is flashcards. I talk about these all the time, and sometimes I get emails from people. They don't want to do flashcards. If you don't want to do flashcards, it's entirely up to you. But I'm telling you, this little action of writing out a flashcard will commit this stuff to your memory a lot faster than you trying to spin your wheels and try to do something else as far as use other apps and things like that. Apps can be great. If you're looking at those, don't ask me because I don't use apps, okay? But they can be great. But the thing is, when you are physically writing out a flashcard, it does something for your memory. It starts to trigger that memory response. Why? Because you are completing a physical action while you're watching this, and it's committing this to memory a lot better. And when you break medical terminology down into prefixes, suffixes, and root words, it makes it a lot easier. I tell you guys, don't try to learn whole words. Try to learn the prefixes, suffixes, and the root words, because then you can piece together these words and you'll know a lot more without having to overburden your mind with having to memorize all of these words. Eventually, you'll get to a point where you can look at medical documentation and just read it. Okay, I got this, I know this. And there's going to be times, even when you are years into it, that you're going to have to pull out the medical dictionary and look it up. What does this word mean? What does that word mean? It's going to come with time. You're going to get there eventually. But I will give you guys this advice. If you are a medical coding student and you're encountering this medical terminology, and this medical terminology is already making you feel like you want to give up because it seems like it's so much and you just seem overwhelmed, get ready, because that medical terminology is the tip of the iceberg. Get ready for more of those feelings of, am I doing the right thing? Because learning medical billing and coding is a lot. There's so much more to it than medical terminology, but you can't let that medical terminology stop you. Because if you do, you're going to miss out on so much more. This stuff, learning medical terminology, it can be uncomfortable because it's it gets frustrating when you can't remember things and things like that, which is why I tell you to break it up, prefixes, suffixes, and root words. But if you let this stop you, you could potentially be stopping yourself from a really great career. And the thing is, failure is not an option in this case. If you've already signed up for the program, this is it. You got to go through this, and you can't give yourself permission to give up. Because if you give yourself permission to give up right now, if you let medical terminology scare you so much that you give up right away, then you're always going to give up. And you can't do that. If you want something fulfilling, if you want to be in a really good career, because in my opinion, medical billing and coding is a great career. I have been in it for over a decade. And I don't see myself stopping this because I love it. And I continue to love it more and more every day. You should be able to say about your career that you love it more than the day you started. Because if you say that you love something as much as the day you started, that means you haven't grown in your career. To me, I love it more every day. And medical terminology is a lot of fun, especially when you start to learn these really big words and you start to be able to figure this stuff out. And then you can have that sort of sense of pride. But you can't expect yourself to learn all of this stuff overnight. Again, you have to do the heavy lifting. And a lot of times people get very frustrated and they want things and they want it right now. You're not going to get it right now. You're not going to get everything 100% right away. You have to be willing to go through those uncomfortable times when you just don't get it. Keep going. Work on the flashcards. And like I said, sometimes I get those emails from people that they don't want to do flashcards. There's really nothing else that I can think of. If you want to go the apps route is not going to have that same trigger in your mind like physically writing out a flashcard will. So that's something to consider. These are old-fashioned study tips, but they work. And to me, you can't really reinvent the wheel when it comes to studying. And when it comes to studying, I think a lot of times in certain generations that studying was made to be faster and faster and faster and more efficient. And I get it. We want to be like more efficient. We want to be quicker with things. But there's something to be said about slowing down and doing things the old-fashioned way. And you're going to keep hearing me say do things the old-fashioned way because, again, you get better results by saying, okay, I'm not going to try to run ahead and do all of this stuff other than the hard work because I really want to hit that end goal. And what is your end goal? Is your end goal to learn medical terminology, or is it to memorize thousands of words? Well, let's be realistic here. We want to learn medical terminology, not memorize thousands of words, because what is the likelihood that you're going to see every single one of those thousands of words? But what is the likelihood that you're going to see the prefixes, the suffixes, and the root words of different words, right? So learning it versus memorizing it. And that's where you have to be able to distinguish the difference between the two. You don't want to have to sit here and try to memorize this. You want to be able to learn it and get those building blocks and get them going that way. So my advice, when you're going through a program, and maybe you have to go to an online program because of the pandemic and everybody's doing everything online and virtual and things like that, follow the program. Don't try to run ahead. Don't try to do a bunch of things other than what you have to do right in front of you. If your assignment is to do chapter 1 of your medical terminology, look at the questions first in that section of the book, right? Because every chapter usually has a set of questions at the end, right? Their check on review or their learning review or whatever. Look at those questions first, read them, then start reading the chapter. Okay, go through the chapter and then answer the questions. But always read the questions first. So that way you know what it is that they're looking for, or you know what the sum of that chapter is. What are they really talking about? You'll already have an idea in your head if you read the questions first, then begin reading the chapter. Okay, and it's going to take your discipline. It is going to take others around you to be on board with this as well. If you have little kids and they're insisting on being with you and they're not letting you study, recruit them. Recruit them to help you study. Do the flashcards and you can do them together. Make it a game where, maybe you break up into teams and you see who can get the most first. Trust me, kids are going to want to be a part of this if they see you doing something. But you have to be disciplined enough to keep doing these things. Now, if you don't have kids, well, Blue, I don't have kids. I don't have that issue. Okay, that's fine. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of parents that are looking into being medical billing and coding people. So if this is the case, it is totally fine. You can recruit people around you to help you study. And it'll go either one or two ways. Either they will help you, or they'll be like, I'll I'll see you later. I'll do what I need to do. And then you can have your peace and quiet to do your studying. But flashcards are portable and you can take them anywhere with you. Okay. You can be outside and you could be walking and you could, just sit down and just start flipping flashcards. Okay. Work in sections at a time. Don't try to overwhelm yourself. Break the body down into different sections and work on the prefixes, suffixes, and root words that way as well. So you can really start to think about like, okay, this is the skin. These are words related to the skin. These are words related to the bones. These are words related to neurology and so on and so forth. Okay. Think about it like that. Break things down into chunks. So this way you don't feel so overwhelmed. But if you let the thought of all of this get to you so bad that you want to give it up, you have to get a tougher skin. That is my hands down biggest advice too. You have to get a tougher skin. Don't let the studying overwhelm you. Is it a lot? Sure. But you're not going to study for the rest of your life like so intense like you are when you're in school. Okay? You're going to be able to continue to study in your career, right? But it's not going to be as intense as this time when you're in school. So just know that this is temporary and you're going to have to spend this time doing this just right now. And then later on, you'll be able to have those skills because your mind and your brain will be able to absorb these things. It will be easier for you as time goes on. It will be able to get faster as well. So again, don't let medical terminology scare you. Break it up into chunks and do the flashcards. That is my biggest advice there, because flashcards is just very easy, and then you can get your mind and your body connected, and it'll make getting through medical terminology a lot easier. And this isn't going to be your biggest hurdle. When you start working with evaluation and management, when you start working with how to look up the diagnosis codes in the book, when you start to get into the procedure coding, whether it's inpatient or outpatient, that's going to present another challenge as well. So this whole experience of studying to be a medical biller and coder is a lot. It is an exercise in patience with yourself. It is an exercise in discipline. You have to be disciplined because there is no quick answer. You just have to do the heavy lifting and just continue to look at videos on YouTube and try to see if there are like different, some people use like music, right, to trigger their memory. So if you're trying to think of certain types of medical terminology, you can do it that way as well. But nothing beats writing stuff down and having it in front of you and seeing it with your own eyes and just sort of going through that process that way. And like I said, with medical dictionaries, I tend to like Dorland's. You can really use any medical dictionary, but I like Dorland's because it's got a lot of really good, beautiful illustrations. I think mine's is the 31st edition. It could be. But I've also used Tabor's as well. So if you are looking at Tabor's is very compact, but it is just more words than it is pictures. And I like a lot of pictures. So, there's that. And medical terminology, again, is a tip of the iceberg because you still have to learn anatomy and physiology. And that is more, especially when you start to get into the disease process and physiology. And that is a lot. Okay. So just be prepared and don't rush this time if you can, possibly, because sometimes people think that they can just get through this quickly and that they should be able to absorb this. It's not. It takes time to learn this. Comfortably, you can learn it in 9 months, but really you can take up to a year. Some programs are 18 months. So, if that's the case, then that's even better because then you have more time to learn. but take the time and read the book, because the book will tell you, the word and what it means. Okay, so I hope this helps. And I know it's just very straightforward, and there's a lot of the things that I've said before, but I'm just going to put out another video that says it because, like I said, I've done these videos. If you have any more questions about study tips, please look through my videos, because I've got plenty of study tip videos. And a lot of the things that I say are very basic, with, just reading and doing flashcards. So really no big hidden secrets there. That's how I learned. And everybody learns differently. So figure out what you need. See if visual learning helps you better, or see if hearing things like auditory learning, if that helps you better. If that's the case, YouTube's going to be your friend there. So that would be what I would have to say about that. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, but that's my tips for today. Very basic, but you guys are going to get through this time. Whatever you do, you are going to get through this time. You have to stick with it. You are not going to be able to see any results if you quit every single time. Failure is not an option, guys. I'm telling you that right now. It's not an option. And just push through that. You have to dig deep. When it comes to doing all the studying and stuff like that, it's a lot. But you got to just dig deep and just do it, because, like I said, this time is just temporary. And then by the time you know it, you're going to be in the real world, doing what you want to do, hopefully, and discovering how much you love this. Or at least I hope you end up loving it like I do. All right, so I'm going to wrap this one up. I do have a Patreon channel, and I do medical terminology exercises. I do a lot of crossword puzzles that I make. If you're interested, the pledge levels start out at just $1 a month, and you get access to all of that. So I'm just saying, not a bad deal. And I do have higher pledge levels that do include one-on-one tutoring time. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check out my Patreon channel. I'll leave that link down in the description box below. So I'm going to wrap this one up. If you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye.